Most people think being broke just means you don't have money, but the truth is darker than that. Being broke is expensive. It costs more to be broke than it does to be middle class. It costs more to be broke than it does to be wealthy. And if you've ever lived paycheck to paycheck, you already know this, even if you couldn't put it into words. Because when you're broke, everything costs more: your car, your rent, your food, your health, your time, your stress, your future. Being broke isn't just a lack of money, it's a system that charges interest on poverty. My name is Max, and I spend way too much time thinking about why being broke actually costs more money. If you are someone struggling to get out of debt or poverty, hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up button. Because in today's video, I will break down why it costs more to be broke, why broke people pay double, sometimes triple for everything, and how this trap keeps people stuck for years, even decades. This isn't motivational fluff. This is real life. Stay until the end of this video and I will give you a game plan to escape poverty and stop paying double for everything. Nobody prepares you for this part of life. They tell you being broke is temporary. They tell you to just work harder. They tell you if you make the right choices, things will get better. But what they don't tell you is this: being broke is expensive, not just financially, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And once you understand this, everything starts to make sense. Being broke means you pay the highest price. When you have money, you get discounts. When you're broke, you get penalties. You can't buy in bulk, so you pay more per item. You can't afford quality, so you buy cheap, and cheap breaks. You can't pay things off in full, so interest eats you alive. Being broke means everything costs more upfront and more over time. And that's not an accident, that's the poverty tax. There's a theory called the boots theory. A rich person can afford a $200 pair of boots that last 10 years. A broke person can only afford $40 boots that fall apart every year. Over 10 years, rich person spends $200, broke person spends $400. Same boots, different outcomes. That's how money works. The less you have, the more you pay overtime. Let me show you how the boots theory works right now in 2025. This isn't about boots anymore. It's about phones, cars, banking, and everyday survival. A person with money can buy a $900 to $1,200 phone outright. No monthly payments, no interest, uses it for 4 to 5 years. Total cost over 5 years, approximately $1,100. Now look at someone who's broke. They can't drop $1,000 up front, so they finance a free phone. $0 down, $45 a month. Insurance required upgrade every 2 years, over 5 years. Phone payments, approximately $2,700. Insurance, approximately $600. Fees, upgrades, taxes. Total cost, $3,300 plus same phone, same usage. Broke person pays 3 times more. That's the boots theory. Now let's talk cars. Someone with savings buys a reliable used car for $8,000 cash. No car payment, lower insurance, fewer repairs. They drive it for 6 to 7 years. Total cost, approximately $8,000 to $9,000. When you broke, you can't afford $8,000 up front. So you buy $3,000 down, 18% interest, 72-month loan. Older, higher mileage car, monthly payment, $420, total paid over time, $30,000 plus. This is exactly why car dealerships love broke people. Besides your monthly payments, you also have to stress about more repairs, higher insurance, and the car has one purpose: transportation. Wealthy person pays $9,000. Broke person pays $30,000. Let's run a real life scenario. A broke person finally scrapes together $4,000 cash and buys a used car private party. No warranty, no return, no safety net. At first, the car runs, but there's a noise, a rattle, a vibration, a small knock. Nothing crazy, but it's there. A mechanic tells them, "It's about $500 right now. You should fix it soon." But here's the problem: they just spent their last $4,000. Rent is due, groceries matter more. So they say, "I'll deal with it later." That's not irresponsibility, that's survival. 2 months later, the noise gets louder, the car stalls on the highway, the engine dies. Now it's not a $500 problem anymore. Here's what it actually costs now: towing, $350, major repair.
engine/transmission damage. $1,500 to $2,000 rental car for work, 3 days, $240. Missed work, 2 days, $400 to $600. Stress, time, chaos, priceless total damage, $2,500 to $3,000.
Now let's rewind the scenario, but this is the outcome of someone with savings and buffer, not just wealthy. A person with savings hears the same noise. They fix it immediately for $500. No breakdown, no tow truck, no missed work, no panic. Same car, same problem, different bank accounts. The broke person didn't ignore the problem because they didn't care. They ignored it because every dollar already had a job. There was no buffer. One repair meant another bill didn't get paid. That delay wasn't a choice. It was forced. Let's talk about how the banks make billions of broke people. Let's be honest about something most people never look at. Banks don't make their real money from rich people. They make it from millions of broke and stressed people making small mistakes. And those small mistakes, they add up to billions. If you're wealthy, you rarely overdraft. You pay cards off monthly, you get low interest, you earn rewards. Banks barely make money off you. But if you're broke, you're a perfect customer. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your margin is thin. Person with money keeps $2,000 buffer, never overdrafts, no fees, earns interest. Person without money, account hovers near zero. One charge post early, overdraft fee, $35. Second charge, another $35. That's $70 gone for being short $5. Over a year, hundreds lost to fees.
That fee didn't cost the bank anything. No labor, no risk, no service, just a button press. Now multiply that by millions of people, multiple times per year. That's hundreds of millions in revenue from people who already have the least. Credit cards are where it really gets dark. If you're broke, you don't use credit for luxury. You use it for groceries, gas, bills, emergencies. Now watch what happens. You miss one payment. Your interest jumps from 18% to 29%. Now, every payment mostly goes to interest, not the balance. So you feel like no matter how much I pay, it never goes down. That's not a feeling. That's the math working against you.
Banks help create the credit score system. And what does it do? It decides how much interest you pay, how much you're approved for, what kind of life you can afford. Bad credit doesn't mean you're bad with money. It usually means you didn't have enough money at the wrong time. But once your score drops, everything costs more. Loans, insurance, deposits, rent. Broke people pay for access to their own money. Think about how crazy this is. Monthly maintenance fees, ATM fees, overdraft fees, check cashing fees. You're paying just to use your own money. Rich accounts, fees waived. Poor accounts, fees stacked. Same bank, different balance, different rules. Banks don't just make money off transactions, they make money off stress. Stress people, react instead of plan. Use credit instead of savings. Pay minimums, accept bad terms. Calm people negotiate. Stress people comply. And compliance is profitable. This is why it feels impossible to get ahead. People ask, why do broke people stay broke? Because the system charges them more at every step of life. One late fee becomes two. One overdraft becomes a negative cycle. One emergency becomes debt. And the bank is there every step collecting. Banks don't hate broke people. They just build a system that profits from them. And once you see that, you stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you're bad with money, and you start realizing the real fight isn't just making more money. It's escaping the system that taxes you for being poor.
People love to say, why don't poor people make better decisions? But here's the truth. When you're broke, you don't choose between good and better. You choose between bad and worse. If your car breaks down and you have money, you fix it immediately. If you're broke, you delay it. You put it on a credit card, you go to a cheap mechanic, or you ignore it. That $500 repair turns into a $2,500 disaster. Being broke doesn't mean you're irresponsible. It means your margin for error is zero. One small problem can destroy everything. When your broke time becomes your currency. When you don't have money, you trade time. Extra shifts, side gigs, driving all day, working weekends, you're always busy, but never ahead. And because you're exhausted, you don't have time to learn new skills, plan long term, build anything meaningful, so you stay stuck in survival mode. And survival mode is expensive and stressful. Let's talk about how stress makes everything worse. Being broke puts your brain in fight or flight. Your mind isn't thinking about next year, it's thinking about next week. So you make short term decisions, payday loans, cashing out investments, selling assets, using high interest credit. It feels like relief in the moment, but it destroys your future. That's not weakness, that's biology. A stressed brain doesn't build wealth, it just tries to survive.
Here's the part nobody likes to hear. Being broke makes you short term focused. Not because you're lazy, not because you're stupid, but because your brain is screaming, fix today, fix right now. So you take payday loans, you cash out investments early, you sell assets instead of building them, short term relief, long term damage. This is why people stay broke for years, not months. Not because they don't work hard, but because they're constantly paying extra just to exist. And the worst part, once you finally start making money, you're still paying for decisions you made when you were broke. Old debt, bad credit, high interest, no safety net. It's like trying to run forward while dragging chains from your past. So if you're watching this and thinking, damn, this feels like my life, I need you to understand something. You're not behind, you're not broken, and you're not failing. You're just playing a game where the entry fee is higher than you were told. And the moment you realize that, you stop blaming yourself and start playing smarter.